What is going on? My name is ZealetPrince and welcome back to yet another reaction. And today we are checking out something a little different. Today we are checking out a Japanese urban legend. It is called the 8-foot-tall lady Hachishakusama. I very much butchered that, but I wanted to at least try and pronounce it for today's video. And a little something else we're going to do for today's video. Because this is an urban legend related video, we are going to be doing this in the dark. And there's just a complete void behind me because there's nothing left in the background. But I don't know what else really to say because I've never even heard of this urban legend. A few years ago, I watched a lot of top 10 urban legend videos a long time ago. I'm talking about like years ago when I first started reacting or just getting into the horror field of the paranormal in general. This was before I started reacting to stuff, by the way. But I don't know what else to really add to this, so we're just going to go ahead and get right into it. In 3, 2, 1, boom. Oh, wait, I forgot to say who this was by. Not bad. Nightmare Tales.
In the summer of 1970, Kana, an 8-year-old girl from Tokyo, and her parents traveled to the small town of Aya in Miyazaki Prefecture to visit her grandparents. They had a small house and a large property which Kana reveled in running around and exploring the lush green and overgrown countryside. Kana's parents had left her in the care of her grandparents as they tended to some commitments in the city of Miyazaki itself, which Kana did not mind at all. She loved the freedom of being in the wide open spaces outdoors and would disappear for hours into the surrounding forest.
Okay, there's your immediate red flag, letting a kid into the forest by themselves.
It was on the second day her parents were gone that Kana had her first unfortunate encounter with Hachishakusama, the 8-foot
Yeah, I completely
lady.
butchered the name.
Kana was just inside the edge of the forest, happily collecting rocks to take back as souvenirs, when she heard a disturbing sound. Po, 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 po. It whispered in a deep masculine voice. Kana looked up towards the source of the sound and froze in fear when she saw a huge woman dressed in all white, with hair as black as a raven, a cold grey face with an unsettling smile, and a huge hat.
Hey, it's the girl from Resident Evil 8. I don't actually know her name. Damasutra, I think it was. I could be very wrong. But hey, look, it's her.
That cast a shadow all the way down her long, 8-foot-tall frame. Kana and the woman locked eyes briefly as Kana tried to find her voice to call out, but she could barely breathe, let alone make a sound. Then the woman backed away and disappeared into the dark shadows of the forest behind her.
You didn't take her right away?
Struggling to get her legs to work properly, ran back to the farmhouse immediately and told her grandma what she had seen. Once Kana's story had been properly relayed and the gravity of the situation set in, her grandma's demeanor quickly became deadly serious. She grabbed Kana by the arms and demanded to know exactly what she had seen and heard. As Kana explained, her grandma began to weep.
Why?
Her grandmother quickly relayed what had happened to her husband, who, in shock, rushed to the phone to try and contact Kana's parents. They were not at their hotel, and so a message was left with the concierge. Kana, now scared and confused, asked what was going on and why everyone seemed to be in such a panic. Her grandfather sat her down and stared deep into her eyes. "Listen closely, Kana," he started.
What happens?
"It seems you've been chosen by Hachishakusama, and unless we can protect you, she will abduct you, like she did several other children in this area, decades ago." Kana was now in tears. What she had just been told terrified her, yet she couldn't help but want to know more. "Who is Hachishakusama?" she then asked. Her grandfather went on to explain.
I'd like to know too.
"No one knows her origins," he said. "Only that this 8-foot woman selects her victims by quietly approaching them, then chanting a po, 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 po sound
Like a
before
heartbeat
retreating.
sound?
Within a few days, that person will disappear. She was supposedly captured by some local monks who imprisoned her in an old shrine by placing a Jizo statue at north, south, east, and west points of the ruins. It appeared, however, that somehow Hachishakusama has escaped. Kana was then taken into the most secure room in the house. The windows were boarded up, and small balls of pure salt were placed in each corner of the room. You must not leave this room, not under any circumstances, her grandmother strictly instructed. Never? Kana's voice trembled. Not until your parents return to take you home, she replied. Then I'll be safe? Kana asked. Yes, her grandmother sighed as her gaze dropped to the floor. Then you'll be safe. However, you can never ever return to Miyazaki. Kana
Otherwise
began
she will
to
be
cry
taken.
as her grandmother left the room. Don't leave me, she wailed. Her grandma explained that she could not stay within the room, and for Kana to be sure to lock the door once it was closed. Night fell over the countryside, and Kana, alone and cold in the dimly lit room, sobbed quietly, wondering when her parents would return to take her home. Several hours into the cold night, she heard her grandfather call out to her. Kana, are you okay? If you're scared, I can come in to keep you company. You don't have to be all alone.
It's not
Open
him.
the door, he said. Kana leapt up and moved over to the door to unlock it, but then was overcome with an icy chill as she approached and realized that something was wrong. Her grandfather's
not him.
voice was somehow different. Open up, the grandfather asked again. It's safe now. Kana looked to her side, and she could see the salt in the bowl slowly turning black as she heard the sound. Pull, pull, pull,
It's her.
pull, emanating from the other side of the door. She backed away into the center of the room and cried uncontrollably for the rest of the night.
Poor girl.
Morning eventually arrived, and so did Kana's parents, who quickly took her into their arms and into their car. They exited Miyazaki immediately, sadly, never to return.
Hey, she's
Once
alive.
back in Tokyo, Kana kept in touch with her grandparents, and she felt an eternal sorrow that she would never be able to visit them again, and that they were too elderly to travel. This sorrow was even further amplified when several years later, her grandfather passed away, and she was unable to attend his funeral. Then, just last week, Kana's grandmother called to give her some terrible news. She had been diagnosed with cancer. Her grandmother then asked Kana if she would come see her one last time before she died.
It's not her.
Kana was confused. But, Grandma, she started, it's not safe. It's fine, her grandmother went on. That all happened a long time ago. You're all grown up now. I'm sure it will be fine. Are you sure? Kana asked. I'm sure, came the reply, along with the bone-chilling pull, 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 pull,
Yeah,
which
it
made
wasn't
Kana
her.
drop the phone, retreat into the corner of the room, and relive the horrific feelings she had felt that night when she was in her grandparents' home, alone, in the dark.
It still wants her. All right. I am actually quite interested in this series. I love urban legends and I love scary tales. This was one of the more interesting one of the urban legends I had seen in several years. I mean, I've seen several urban legends over the years, but this is like one of the few ones that stood out as the most different, because I've seen the slit mouth woman, I've seen Tick, I think it was called, or TikTok, the half body woman that runs around and kills people in the middle of the night. The one that I don't remember if I'm remembering the story correctly yet. Ran over by a train, only her top half hunts down people. Let's see, the boy, the child. I don't know what's up with the child, like a spiritual child that kills people, and then the Ring. Was the Ring a Japanese urban legend? I don't remember. It's been a long time since I've seen many of that stuff, but this was a nice refresher for urban legends. So I think I will continue checking them out, especially from Nightmare Tales. I like the art style. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's short horror story related video. I will have more in the future lined up. But for now, this is just it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you all in the next reaction video. Bye.